stop him doing too much to be aggressive in the middle. A lot of cannons around here to protect this nexus, and he's got those back rocks opened up, so he's going to be fairly safe in terms of moving his forces between those two bases. A lot of phoenixes, but are they going to be able to take down the Vikings before the Vikings can take down the Colossi, and then the Bioforce just goes to work and everything else? Going to be quite tight, and he's got quite a few medevacs as well, and he scans that army, he knows exactly what's there, he knows that all the phoenixes are there, and he's just going to move around, and with the extra range of the Vikings, it could do quite a lot of damage. Move in, but no, looks like we're going to have phoenixes against Vikings. That's going to leave the Colossi free to take down this Bioforce, and if the Zealots close in on the right one, it doesn't look like he might do too well. His army kind of on him with the rocket moves, so wow, the Phoenixes absolutely destroyed all those Vikings. So he just kept on producing Phoenixes, and he had way more than he needed to just take down this Viking completely, and now he's got a lot of Colossi left, but they're all going down to the Bioforce just about, but the Bio is nearly dead. Colossi, one Colossi left, although that possibly went down, but it looks like he's got all his Phoenixes still left, and he just produced so many Phoenixes that he was able to take down all those Vikings really quickly, and I didn't think it would be that effective. I mean, the Phoenix gets bonus damage against light, but Vikings aren't light as far as I'm aware, so I'm quite surprised that he managed to do quite so well against all those Vikings, since I think it was a pretty even amount of Vikings against Phoenixes, and he just kept on producing so many Phoenixes that in the end that made the difference. Because once he had only a few out at the start of the game, or earlier on, it didn't look like it was going to be worth it. It looked like a bit of a silly move, but with this many Phoenixes, and ouch, down goes the EMP, taking out the shield on almost all of those units except for the Zealot. All the Phoenixes basically lost all their shields, but he's not able to really chase that down, not confident enough to try and chase that down. He's going to lose all his medevacs to those Phoenixes if he's not too careful as well, so he just kind of needs to back off and producing more Vikings, because basically he needs to. There's just so many Phoenixes. Wow, even more coming out, so yeah, a few Phoenixes, not really going to be worth it against a load of Vikings, but this many Phoenixes, he's got what, 12 Phoenixes out now against 3 Vikings, and any air of the Terran is just going to absolutely get destroyed. If he gets in too close, and this Marauder might die as well, but no, just manages to sim and run away. And only 3 Vikings out, he can't deal with the Colossus without having more Vikings, but he did manage to take most of them down at the start, and with all this gas invested in these Phoenixes, he's not able to do too much, just produce more Colossi. He's kind of a bit behind there, just check the production tab. He's now going for High Templar and getting Storm upgraded. He's going to get High Templar out, presumably get the Cardaran amulet so they spawn with the Storm and basically push forward. And it's 3 base against 3 base at the moment, with that 4th base coming up for the Protoss. Basically he's got a bit of an advantage, he's got a huge air advantage, and it looks like the Terran's going for a 4th base as well, but that's kind of going to be a bit exposed. He hasn't taken down these rocks yet. His force is kind of in the middle, but these Phoenixes could just fly across, pick up every single SCV, just destroy them all and make that base basically useless, even if you make the planetary fortress there. Unless he starts spamming turrets there, he's not going to be able to do too much, and it looks like we're going to get a lot of photon cannons going down at the front as well, and the Terran's going to move out and try and take down his base, but a few photon cannons there. He could get trapped from behind if the army decides to move out. Yep, the Protoss army's going to move. No, he's just kind of closing a bit, and it looks like there's a sting coming down, and he's going to be able to take down the Colossus, and the Protoss army is kind of a bit split, and an EMP goes down pretty nicely along a lot of those stalkers, but all these Zealots closing in, and it looks like Terran might in fact win this battle quite convincingly, because he managed to EMP a lot of those units and take a lot of them down. He's got a nice ball here, and they want the Colossi next so much on the Phoenixes, and the Phoenixes, a lot of them go down as well, and now all the Vikings are down, yeah, but so are the Phoenixes. They finally managed to take down the Phoenixes, and he didn't manage to take down the medevacs, and a lot of this force still alive. So basically he just spent too much getting more and more Phoenixes and didn't get enough Colossi because he was switching into the Temple, so basically a nicely timed attack from the Terran, able to take down all that force before he had really the support that he needed to do the mass damage to the Bioforce. Now he's going to chase down and possibly take down another Colossus. No, he just decides to stay back here, take down this Nexus which has just gone up. Cannons can't do anything because they've lost their pylon, and these SCVs are going to be able to transfer across because the Zealots coming to do a bit of an attack, but they're going to be absolutely useless. They're not going to be able to do anything really apart from die. So nicely played by the Terran, basically managed to do an attack at the perfect time, kind of between the switch from Stalkers for Colossi to High Templar even, and took out that entire Protoss force and managed to take out that 4th base as well while getting his own up. And now his 4th base is going to be pretty secure because there's not any Protoss force to attack it. Although the Protoss is going to know about it fairly soon, assuming he doesn't already know. He doesn't yet, but he's going to know because he's going to have seen those SUVs that he just attacked. But a lot of High Templar right now, so it'll be interesting to see more ghosts coming, and it looks like Colossus are going to come out. I think a ghost just died there, but he's taking down another Colossus, taking down another one, but a lot of storm going down on all these units. Zealot's closing in, but it's just not enough units here. All these units heavily damaged though for the Terran. But still, our fourth base isn't up. It's 3 against 4. The Terran's got an advantage now in the macro, and he's got an advantage in the army size. Massive advantage in the army size with that Bioforce, and they're pretty even on the harvesters. And if he manages to push in and take down this base, that could basically be a good game. And he's getting some upgrades as well, making sure he's got weapons level 3 nearly up. And not quite sure what's on the board. No, just +1 upgrade tank to the Protoss. So wow, the Terran's far ahead. He's got storm going down on all these troops. Ouch, losing loads of his troops. Just a couple of storms there. Managed to take down another Colossus coming back there. And some Zealots coming in. Now they're going to be able to clear up some of these Marauders. Possibly a lot of them quite damaged from that storm. Looks like all the Marauders are going to go down. And really, he could have tried to pick them up. But these High Templar are doing a lot of damage. And these Vikings are going to be pretty useless now because there's no Phoenixes, there's no Colossus, and there's no army for the Terran, except for these Vikings. But if he lands them, he could take down this Nexus before it finishes. He should really be landing them right now. Take down the Nexus. Go on, you can do it. But he's going to wait, move in with some more forces. And just a couple of High Templar and a Zealot here. Really not going to be able to do too much against these forces if he decides to move in. And the Terran really missing an opportunity here. A couple of Archons trying to form, but they're not going to form. They're going to get taken down by all the Fire Force. And EMP going off on the High Templar. They're going to be able to do nothing. Time to run away. So a lot of wasted energy here. And if these just landed, they could take out these forces. They're not going to be able to use too much. Yeah, be useful for too much else. But no, Protoss is GG's. Behind on bases, behind on upgrades. Lost all his army. 2 bases mined out against 2 base Terran. With just his 1 mining base still over here. And well played by the Terran. He just managed to attack at exactly the right time when there weren't the Colossi rebuilt from that first battle. All the Phoenixes, they wouldn't have been much use even if they hadn't all died. So well played by the Terran, coming back, using some nice EMPs. Storms would have been good, but really LenaPark just kind of a bit slow on the tech switch. He kind of switched into High Templar after he lost all his Colossus. Didn't rebuild any, didn't have anything to do mass damage against the Bioball, and the Bioball just managed to take everything down. So, nice timing by the Terran, kind of a bit lucky in some ways, but also a bit misplayed by the Protoss, and a good game overall. So, hopefully the audience enjoyed it as much as I did. A bit of playback now at the end of this video, just to show where all these Phoenixes were. They all got EMP'd, but you can see the Vikings going down at the moment. They were focusing on the Colossi, taking them down, while the Phoenixes were able to just basically eat up all the Vikings completely. And he just didn't manage to kill the Colossi quickly enough. He didn't focus fire on, so you can see all 3 Colossi here. Half health, no shields on all 3. And now they're finally going down to the rest of this Bioforce, which is running up. The Phoenix is all still alive, not able to do too much. Trying to kill these medevacs quite slowly. But because he had the Phoenixes and possibly some of the Stalkers focusing on the Vikings, he killed them pretty quickly. They didn't manage to focus down the Colossi well enough, so he lost all his forces, the Terran, because of that. Phoenix is still alive, but they were only useful when the Vikings were firing on the Colossi instead of firing on the Phoenixes and trying to deal with them. So kind of that's the main reason why there were so many Phoenixes at the end of this battle. And then I'll skip ahead in a second to the other battle where we see the Phoenixes again against the Vikings, and the Vikings basically destroy them. And that time it was because there weren't any Colossi to soak up the fire of the Vikings. The Vikings were just able to focus down on the Phoenixes. So he's producing more, he's got 10 up now. And let's stop it here and move on to the next bit. Okay, so here we've got the second battle between the Phoenixes and the Vikings, and oops, speed's a bit high. And this time we've got the Phoenixes flying in, but there are no Colossi to take any damage. So we've got all these Vikings here against all these Phoenixes, and the Phoenixes are just dying completely. We're killing a few of the Vikings, but they're just dying so quickly for the rest of it, especially with some Marines at the bottom just killing the rest of the Phoenixes. And the Phoenixes, they're just not being any use, and the Vikings weren't doing much anyway because there's only a couple of Colossi out. The first one died pretty quickly, the second one is just up here, not able to do too much damage just because it's on its own. So basically the Phoenixes, while they were useful at the start, then he rebuilt them. He didn't rebuild enough Colossi, so the Vikings weren't doing anything against the Colossi anyway because there weren't any to kill, and the Phoenixes weren't able to do too much because he just kind of wasted a lot of resources on that. So I think that kind of cost him a battle. If he hadn't rebuilt those Phoenixes and instead he'd been pumping out Colossi maybe from 2 robos instead of pumping out Phoenixes from the Stargate, he might have had more Colossi, might have been able to do a bit more damage. I mean, sure, the Vikings wouldn't have been as distracted since at that point he only had about 6 Phoenixes left over from that first battle, but if he hadn't built 6 more, the Vikings would have died probably if they'd been focusing on the Colossi. The Colossi would have done a lot more damage, so he might have had maybe no Phoenixes left, maybe no Colossi left, but the Terran would probably not have had this big fireball left either. So kind of I think this big mistake was rebuilding those Phoenixes. They were good in the first battle because the Vikings were so distracted. They weren't so good in the second battle because the Vikings weren't distracted. And really I think the lack of kind of support units to his zealots was the main problem. He hadn't got the High Templar out at that point, and that's pretty much what cost him the game, I think.